Hey YouTubers, Grimmy Dragon here, and once again it's review time, and today we are taking a look at the Transformers Power of the Primes, Starscream. Yep, we're looking into some of the Voyagers now. And I wanted to start off with everyone's favorite, treacherous guy. And the jet mode, as you can see, is a little unusual. It's not his standard jet mode. It looks like a hodgepodge of various versions of Starscream. You got a little bit of Armada at the front, but the rest definitely feels somewhat G1-ish. And of course you can see he has big stickers on those wings, which is a bit of a letdown. They kind of stick out too much. It's just bothersome, really. I'm not fond of them. I mean, I like all the details. You got all these little step downs. You got Ghost Attack. You got D22, which is his number. I got a lot of nice details here, but they just start too chromed and they don't blend with the wings all too well. So yeah, like I said, you got Ghost Attack, you got the Decepticon symbols, if you can see it. I got the details on the front. So they were trying for a G1 look. They even got the wing details on the back, which is nice. Got some more on here. Got some crossed out Autobot symbols there, which is a cool detail. You got the Decepticon symbol there. It's not bad. It's not a horrible idea, but it was poorly executed. And hopefully Repro Labels will make a set that actually makes this guy shine a bit. Now for features, he does have a little bit of an opening cockpit. It's not for what you think, because no Titan Master or Prime Master is going to be able to sit there and have it close. In fact, for example, we'll get Legion Maximo as soon as I can pull him out. Yeah, we got Legion Maximo here, who won't sit in. I mean, you might be able to get him to do something like this, and even that doesn't work. So yeah, he doesn't sit in there, but you can turn him into his Prime Core mode, and he'll fit snugly in there, but you can't close it. So this isn't really meant for jet mode, which is unfortunate, but it is how it is. So yeah, as you can see, he kind of has a downward slant to him because these feet don't work too well. And he does have the landing gear, but you can flip the feet up to normal. It slants a little less. Still slight slant, but yeah. And the other gripe I have is that little gap. It's because the two pegs on the inside kind of meet too early, so it kind of messes with the transformation. So I might have to try to file that down to get this to work right. As you can see, he does have the null rays on the wings, which you can pop off and peg in wherever you want, but the wings are fine. But in any case, oh yeah, before I forget, let's get some comparisons in. So we'll start off with one that is kind of an odd, but relevant all the same. Starscream, who was a Combiner Wars repaint from the club. And as you can see, Yeah, Starscream is a bit bigger than his Shattered Glass self. But you can see the jets do kind of match. A little bit. A very little bit. But next up, we'll bring in the Universe 2.0 Starscream, which is my classic Starscream right now. But as you can see, those two have some differences. I do like the classic Scream better still. Yeah. And the last but certainly not least, we'll do the Takara book reissue G1 Starscream. And like I said, this is the Takara book series reissue, so he has the cartoon colors. But still nice, and you can see a lot of where the inspiration for the deco goes. Like you can see the decals on the back of the G1 jet here, which are matching that one. And yeah, some of the basic design choices for the wings are apparent, as well as the tail fins. So yeah, you got that. So I guess now we should get to transformation. And Starscream isn't too complicated to transform, but he can be a little bit of a pain, because everything is super tight. First we'll take the null rays off, and then flip up the landing gear, just to make things a little easier. And I think just try to free things up a bit. Free up the arms and the legs, which will in turn free up everything else. Ooh, okay. Yeah, these are just on a little clip, so they can pop off easy enough. No harm done. Yeah, we'll pop that off, and then we'll flip up the jet cockpit. Then we just pull the legs down, like so. And then we flip this part in, and it just pegs right into the knee. Rinse and repeat. So yeah, pull that back, the legs are done. As you can see, he's actually coming along quite well. Almost completely done. All you have to do now is rotate the backpack. You can pull the wings back just a little bit to give him some room. Oh, and okay. Yeah, I made a mistake. So yeah, the jet mode's supposed to go like this, which will make things a little easier. And then you rotate the head around. And Starscream's all transformed. And robot mode does look a little bulky, but it's not horrible. It's decent. He's just looking like a really bulky Starscream. Everything that, well, just about everything that you would need from Starscream is here. You got the wings, you got the blue forearms, although they do kind of click in place when you're fully out. The shoes are a bit bulky too, and that's just due to the combiner gimmick that's in him. which is unfortunate, but it is there. But all in all, he does look alright. I mean, it's not a horrible Starscream. He's just really buff. Which I guess, considering how he presents himself in the comics, that's not a horrible thing. So, yeah, he works. So for articulation, you do got a ball-jointed head. You got ratcheted universal shoulders. Really nice. Bicep swivel. About 90 at the elbow. No waist. You got forward, backward at the hips. A little bit of a detent on the in and out movement. Thigh swivel. Knee, about 90 at the knee. Though it is recommended you hold the leg together to turn it, because that mechanic doesn't seem to stay all too well. And yeah, that's it for articulation. Not a whole lot, but not horrible. Now for accessories, he does have his classic null rays, as you saw, which is easy enough to attach to his arms. There are pegs for him. And that looks alright. He also has his Prime armor and Seeker Enigma, which is just a little plastic matrix piece that can pop into the Prime armor. But these also have little pegs at the bottom, wherein you can combine with the null rays to make even bigger null rays. And while the look isn't perfect, it does work, since these have a little bit of a hinge so they can get out of the way of the big bulky arms, and I do appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, it's not a perfect look, but it's serviceable, and you don't have to use the Prime armor if you don't want to. So it's an option. And I gotta admit, they do bulk out the null rays a bit better. So let's get some more comparisons in. Again, we'll start off with Starscream, since he's pretty much one of the guys who can actually combine with the Starscream if we wanted. But yeah, they can go pretty well together. This is significantly bigger. Then we'll include Universe 2.0 Starscream, who's smaller, but I like the Classics mold better. I think it still really does bring out Starscream better than this one does. And last but not least, let's bring in G1. And yeah, you can see the sticker detail on this new Starscream does replicate the sticker detail on the G1 fairly well. I'm still not fond of the stickers. I kind of wish this little Decepticon logo here was on like the wings or the shoulders. Just really bring out that G1 feel, but it works. I mean, you're not going to see it on those wings anyway. But yeah. And there is one more comparison that I think is important. And that is with Titans Return Megatron. And it's not a bad comparison between the two. They actually do work. Megatron's still a little bit taller, and he still looks like he could beat Starscream senseless if he wanted to. So I think this will work well together. Might be nice if we got a Skywarp and Thundercracker repaint of this mold. Maybe. Hey, go all out with the cone heads too. So it's not horrible. It's not a horrible mold, but it does have an extra trick, and that is a combiner function. And yeah, it can actually combine with some other jets, so, well, other transformers, which is part of the gimmick. So now that we got the armor and weapons off, we're going to get him into combine mode, and hopefully this will go well. No more cell phones. Yeah, first try I had a cell phone go off, so yeah, just keep that in mind. Always keep those on silent. Lesson learned, I hope. So we're going to start by rotating this around. And then we're going to flip the arms down like so. Or up, depending on how you look at it. Luckily, the pieces just can pop off. That can snap back on. So yeah. Just flip the armor up. Rotate the combiner peg out. Or port out. And then just flip those down. Next up, we go with the head. Just flip out the combined head, and then we're gonna we're gonna push this one in. Gotta flip it around, make sure it's facing out like that, then pop it in. We're gonna have Cyclonus syndrome. Okay, so I'm gonna flip these back in place and push them in until they actually peg into that spot. And there is a spot right on the back there. Got a couple divots to get them into. Rinse and repeat for this leg. And just aligning this is tricky, but once you do, it is very solid. Like, that's not going to go anywhere. So we fold the wings out like this. Make sure to peg that in. Get that properly aligned. And these little bits actually slide into slots on there. Flip this little piece out. This around, and then we flip up the head, and the torso mode is done. But he needs limbs, doesn't he? Now we'll start with legs, and for that we're going to need these, which serve as feet. And I'll borrow some hands from the Dinobots to show off how you can use them as ankle support or heel supports. Although one's thicker than the other. Yeah, it's very stubborn about going in, so, but yeah, you got the ankle support. So now we need some legs. And I'm going to use the TFCC needle nose. And Windsweeper. So, okay, not quite perfect here, but you get the idea. We can just slide them in like you would any other combiner torso. And yeah, he's getting tall already. Well, yeah, he's already at top height, but back that up a bit. And then we're going to take the natural power of the Primes figure, Dreadwind, and we'll slide him into the left arm. And for the right, we'll use Club Fractal. And I'm using the club toys because I just happen to have some decent access to them. And I don't want to take apart Superion or use any Autobots really. I want them an all Decepticon combiner. So yeah, here we have Starscream fully combined in all his glory. King Starscream. They didn't even give him an official name on the instructions, which is a shame, but still, he's a big boy, and that torso does homage the movie figure quite a bit, or the movie character quite a bit. And I like it. I think it's a good combined mode. So for weapons, you still got those null rays, which in this case, easy to do something with. You can just pop them right into Darkwind and Fractal's hands. Although in Darkwind's case, it's kind of clanging against his forearm a bit. But you can put them on, which is cool. I do like that. And he's got a typical combiner's articulation. You got the left and right movement at the head, all the articulation that the combiner limbs offer, although, yeah. Got the universal shoulders, got the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, wrist swivel, hand and thumb, ratcheted hips, knee bend, thigh swivel. There's a swivel right below the knee as well, thanks to the combiners. And yeah, you got these outs, and thanks to this, you actually have ankle tilts. Which is a nice addition. And you can get them into some more wild poses if you want. But we'll get him standing straight again. As we get into a couple comparisons. And the first comparison is an obvious one. It's going to be Combiner Wars Bruticus. Because, you know, Starscream has such a long history with the Combaticons, both in the comics and out, that this is a necessary comparison. So yeah, and the other one is just as necessary in a sense. So yeah, let's bring in G2 Superion. And I'm using the G2 version just because it's easier to get to. The G1 version is kind of, well, the Combiner Wars version is kind of tucked away, so yeah, G2 Combiner Wars Superion's easier to get to. In my case, yeah, one of the most stable combiners of Combiner Wars with a very, very stable combiner for Titan's Return. I have to admit it. Starscream makes a great torso. I mean, he's very solid. I mean, the Bayformery look is a little bit off, but yeah, it's a solid combiner. And before I forget, yes, you can easily open up the cockpit and pop the Seeker Enigma in right here, or any Prime Master you desire. So that is a nice look. And oh wow, I didn't notice that the face sculpt was kind of covered up. So let's get a good look at that face. Yeah, very reminiscent of his conquest during the movie, where he had that crown before Galvatron shot him and killed him. So yeah, you got that. And that is quite nice. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. And I'll see you next time. So until then, goodbye out there, whatever you are.